There's still activity in the House Republican leadership after yesterday's meeting trying to find some sort of health care compromise. The reality is there's certainly no health Republican-driven, White House-driven, Johnson-Thune-driven health care plan that would extend the subsidies and could pass both chambers. There's just no such thing. But there doesn't seem to even be a plan that can pass the House with Republican votes because there's no agreement there. You've got a pretty big group of moderate and endangered Republicans who want a subsidy extension. And then you got some conservatives who don't want a subsidy extension. So, and the White House hasn't weighed in. Here's John Barrasso, is number 2 Republican, right? In the Senate, not number 3. He's number 2. Here's John Barrasso of Wyoming on Fox and Friends, and this is a perfect encapsulation of the Republican position on health care, which is the Democrats are horrible, Obamacare is horrible, but we have no ideas. John Barrasso, 106, please.
We want to put patients in charge. Brian, the Democrats are coming to the Senate today to do another bailout of Obamacare. And I'm a doctor. I want people to get the care that they need at an affordable price. But Obamacare robbed people of affordability as well as choice. And if the Democrats get their way, they will send another $83 billion directly from the federal government to health insurance companies, which, what have we seen with these things? That just raises prices even further. We need to send money to patients, empower them to make the decisions that what works best for them, make the insurance companies compete for those dollars, give people more choices rather than this one-size-fits-all straitjacket that's Obamacare.
So again, they have ideas, they just don't have consensus. Here's the Wall Street Journal headline, 107. Again, there are a bunch of House Republicans who are breaking away from the leaders. It says some Republicans break with leaders on saving ACA subsidies. GOP lawmakers across the political spectrum open to short-term extension of enhanced tax credits. And then 108, please. There's still some embers. There's still some green shoots, whatever metaphor you want to use. There is some effort to try to find something to extend the subsidies, maybe for a month, and I don't rule that out. Here's news. This is from X. Here's a slide of healthcare options House GOP leadership is putting under consideration. Republicans are still discussing options. Note that extending Obamacare subsidies is not listed. So even though the leadership listed a bunch of ideas, and you heard the senator list some of them there, there's no consensus on an alternative plan, and there's certainly no great desire on the part of either the president, who poured some more cold water on it yesterday, or the speaker to extend. So, Larry, first question briefly: is there going to be a deal before the subsidies expire, or this is a January project?
I think there's going to be an emergency ripcord deal just to, again, sort of extend it a little, as you said, for a couple of months here, because there's a short-term, mid-term, and long-term problem here. Which we can get into. But the short-term problem is the squeeze that they're about to have that led to the last shutdown with the subsidies running out. And I think there will be a short-term solution for that. And then we can get into some of the more details if you want in a moment. And what there does seem to be a growing consensus among Republicans around.
Well, so you think there'll be an extension of the subsidies that will be for like a few months?
Yes.
Yeah. Kevin, do you agree with that?
I mean, it's got to be at least for a year, right, in terms of how the marketplace works in terms of these premiums. I think the pressure is going to ratchet up. People have already seen their premium bills come out for the next year. That's only going to mount. The interesting thing is the dynamic that's going on in the House, where it's now ruled by discharge petition, with such a slim majority. So many of these discharge petitions are making their way. There's this effort by Gottheimer, Mark, that you kind of referenced in terms of the centrist folks coming together with a 1-year extension. You got, Crapo and Cassidy with their bill. On the Senate side, Democrats are going to put forward a 3-year extension. Under Schumer, that was part of the deal with, I think, J.D. Vance is flying over the House right now because I live right by the Naval Observatory.
It's true. J.D. Vance can fly. He's like Superman.
He can fly.
But he's very loud. He's like an MRI.
He's like Peter Pan. Exactly. But none of these bills are going to get the 60-vote threshold in the Senate today, so they're going to fail, and we'll see how the process plays out.
But is this emergency plan that Larry says is going to happen? I think might. Is it going to get a lot of Democratic votes in the House?
Kevin.
You know what I'm saying? In other words, are they going to craft a short-term thing that has bipartisan support? Because Because sometimes it won't be clean. It can't be clean, right? The speaker's not going to bring something clean. Or, I don't know,
No.
will he? Would the speaker extend this?
No, well, Republicans are intent on adding some anti-fraud provisions in there.
Even for like a 2-month extension, that you think they would demand that?
I think they might, yeah.
Yeah,
that's the only way they can get it past some of the conservatives who don't want any extensions.
I do.
Yeah.
I think they will. All right.
They say that something that's easy is like a walk in the park. Well, easier than a walk in the park, hit the subscribe button, be part of the two-way community, never miss an episode, be part of our conversations. Thank you for your service to America.
And don't forget, you can now listen to the morning meeting and Two-Way Tonight on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.